here. It's just so slow. Okay. Okay. All right. So we are live.
Oh,
I guess I could let's do this. I'll get all of my tags ready. Let's play a little music before we do anything. Maybe that'll get us started. That way I can get some of the banners going here.
okay.
Wear my headphones. Just let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
Yep.
You can hear it clear? All right. Anke Ma'at, everyone. Anke Ma'at. Hotep to all who's joining. See James there. Anke Ma'at to you. James Limba. All right. As we are allowing folks to come on in, there's a beautiful Hesi by the Schaefers. Kepa Ra, Aten Ra, Amen Ra. Anke Ma'at and Nefer Baka or Baka Nefer, Sanet Kazi or Sanet. Oh, yeah, you are on mute. How are you this morning?
Uncle Mayat, I am doing well. How about yourself?
I cannot complain. I could, but for what? You know what I mean? I think,
Yes.
speaking of today's topic, that's we can all complain, but we have so much to be grateful for. You know what I mean? We woke
Absolutely.
up. We woke up. We're here in communion. Back for another session, and we're able to, be here, eyes open. Ra rose again, and I can't complain.
It's better to be grateful.
That's right. That's right. As opposed to the alternative, not only that, when you are stuck in our complaints, then we kind of fall to the lows, and it just kind of continues. We get in that whirlwind of the down feeling, the
Yes.
downside. So I
Woe
choose
is
to rise
me.
with Ra. That's right. That's
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
Why me? Why me? or
Why
it
hast
can't
thou forsaken me?
or it can't get any worse than this, and yes, it can. So I'm grateful and I'm humble to be here. All right, I'm going to put up today's topic of discussion here on the screen. Get everybody get our, as some would say, get our gears grinding so we can think about what we'll be discussing today. Yes, you've read that correctly. What have you done for Inter lately? What have you done for Inter lately? All right, with our open reflection, do it to the Neteru and all who have gathered here in our circle as we continue to do this weekly. Today, we're going to reflect on a powerful truth, talking about blocking our blessings, removing the blocks, giving more than we are asking. So, we're often asking for blessings, but do we always position ourselves or prepare ourselves to receive them? We pray for growth, but we resist change often. We ask for elevation, but then we hold on to old patterns. We seek abundance, but we don't give in equal measure often. And I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying in general. In the teachings of Ma'at and the things that we continue to learn and to strive for, we know that balance is essential. There must be right giving and right receiving. We can measure this with reciprocity, also balance and order. All of those things are key. And when we're talking about Ma'at and the different principles or virtues of Ma'at, balance is one of the most essential pieces of that. So again, right giving and right receiving. So if we're always asking but not offering, we create an imbalance. If we don't change our ways, we can stand in the way of our blessings, which is what we all call, blocking our own blessings. And sometimes it's not that the blessings are not coming, it's just that we're blocking them. So today, let's reflect on a few questions as Sinet Oye comes to open in the way. So before we turn it over for her to do so, again, the question poses, what have you done for Inter lately? Have we given gratitude? Have we given discipline? Have we given truth in our actions? And have we given offerings with sincerity? See, when we give rightly through action, intention, and alignment, we open the path for our blessings to flow. And speaking of opening, I'm going to turn it over to Sinet Oye so that she can go ahead and open the way for us and we can get started with today's topic of discussion. I'm going to mute so we can hear that sound so beautifully.
Okay. And Grand Rising, everybody. We're going to now stand in the pose of adoration and prepare to open up our day, calling in each and every aspect of ourselves to guide us through. So you want to have your left foot forward and your right foot back, your left hand forward and your right hand back. Your wrist slightly bent, not broken. And then you want to prepare to take your 3 deep breaths. On that third deep breath, we will chant the word Ankh, which is the word of life. Okay, so we're going to take in the first breath now. And let it out. Breathe in. And let it out. Breathe in. Anisharak in Bethet, Nuke in Bethet, Anisharak Happy, Nuke Happy, Swau Enter. Turn to the right. Anisharak Circuit, Nuke Circuit, Anisharak Kepsanu, Nuke Kepsanu, Twau Enter. Turn to the right. Anashrak Ast. Nuke Ast. Anashrak Amset. Nuke Amset. Twau Enter. Turn to the right. Anashrak Neat. Nuke Neat. Anashrak Duamutef. Nuke Duamutef. Twau Enter. Turn to the right. Anashrak Newt. Nuke Newt. Anashrak Geb. Nuke Geb. Twau Enter. Anashrak Shoo. 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 Nuke Shoo. Anashrak Tefnut. 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 Nuke Tefnut. Twau Winter. Anashrak Paut Interu. Nuke Paut Interu. Anashrak Embu Interu. Nuke Embu Interu. Twau Winter. Twau Enter. Whew.
Twau Enter. Dwa, Dwa, Dwa. Dwa, Dwa, Dwa. We give honor to Baba Haru, Ankh Ra, Samaj Sepata, Ma'ake Ru, opener of the way, bearer of Ma'at, and custodian of the Ankh. We continue the ritual in honor of your contribution to the Kemetic legacy that we are living today. All right. So we now open the space in reverence. We ask that the path before us be cleared and that our minds be honest and reflective. May our hearts be open to truth and correction. Dua Natir.
Dwa Natir.
All right. Today we're going to give our flowers as usual. Our flowers, before we go into the meaning of today's flowers or the symbolism for today, we always offer our flowers. Number one, we did just now to our newly ancestor, Baba Heru, Ankh Ra Samaj Sepata. Many of us are here together as we have come together, and by the power of him and all of his hard work. We also offer the flowers to our Himnetter and Tepi Jabari. We also offer flowers to Himnetter Wasiri, who started this journey with us as we, began the adoration service. Now, of course, flowers represent offerings, and we are speaking of giving today. So something we give freely, that's an offering. They remind us that devotion is not only about asking, but should be more about giving our time, giving our discipline, giving right reaction, and giving offerings with sincerity. So today, I know I say flowers, but they're technically plants. Today, the symbol is going to be this plant that I have here. If you guys can see this plant here, of course, it's a money tree. I've had this plant since 2021. It continues to give life, even when it looks like it is going to wither away. It doesn't require much, but it does require some Again, time, discipline, and right action. It lets me know when it needs water, when it needs sun, when it needs simply, time. And our plants are alive. Uh, so they do require our time as well. So as we place these flowers on this plant, we reflect how have we been given? And if not, are we giving more than we're asking? With that being said, I would like to turn it over to Sinette Oye so that she can go ahead and set our feather as we get into today's discussion.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Net Oye is just having a slight technical difficulty, but I give me 1 second and I will.
Take your time. Let me know if you need me to do anything.
Let me see. All right, so right now we're transitioning into setting of the flower. I mean feather, and since I do have a feather, but it's just way up top.
I'll get mine.
Too
Y'all know
far for me to get.
I got a piece left. My little dusty feather. I'll get it. Here it is. This is from initiation. It was a full feather, but that's what I have left. So here we are.
Yes. So I have my thimble bell thingies. I don't really know the name of these. Um, it was gifted to me, but I know that it's used for the vibration and clearing of energy, and also you can use it to clear your crystals and things like that, like get the vibration of the stuff. So, well, I just went on a little rant, but we're going to go ahead and set the flower. I keep saying set the flower, set the feather today. And how we do that is we'll take a 4 breaths, which will be symbolic of one, the breath in truth. So when we breathe in, we're going to breathe in truth. Two, the breath in accountability. Ooh, that's a big one. Okay. Sometimes accountability is so hard for people to own. Um, but I think sometimes that could be due to lack of awareness, of self-awareness. When you're not aware of yourself and some of your bad habits, it makes it difficult for you to take accountability for something that you're unaware of that you do. Um, Breath in balance. Always, always, always need to have balance in everything that we do. Even when we're out of balance, it is our job to recalibrate and make sure that we rebalance our scales. And then the last and final breath will be the breath in Mayat, and we'll be exhaling resistance.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
gosh, that is a big one. That is a big one. I don't know about you,
I'm
but
gonna
it's
have to
a
take
big
a
one for
deep
me.
breath on that one. Deep, deep breath.
That has been a big lesson for me. Um, So, as we breathe together, we allow honesty to enter the heart. The feather in Mayat reminds us that imbalance can come not only from what we do, but from what we fail to do. When we realign ourselves, we remove the blocks that stand in the way of our growth. So now we're going to breathe in the first breath. We're breathing in truth, and we're exhaling delusion. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. That was sweet. On the second breath, we are breathing in accountability, And we're going to release. What we're going to release? Breathing in accountability. The lack of accountability. We're going to release that. Now we're going to breathe in balance, and we're going to release imbalance. And last but not least, we will be breathing in mayats and exhaling resistance. Let it go. Ashe.
Ashe, ashe. Excuse me, guys. Allergies is kind of doing what they do. All right. So as having centered ourselves in truth, we'll now move into adoration. Now we come here every week. Adoration is not only praise, although we say Dwa R Hrw, praise to the day. It's also offering. I think that even us coming here every Sunday is a form of offering. Us being on the screen, all of you who come and join in, who are here with us live and who watch the videos later, that's also offering. You're offering your time. You're offering, those of you who've been here every week consistently, you're offering your discipline. This is an offering to the Netaru. Collectively, we come and have a virtual communion in a sense. But what are we doing? What are we doing for the Netaru outside of these Sundays when no one's looking? When we're in our day-to-day lives, Again, it's not only praise, it's offering. It's the act of giving reverence, attention, and alignment to the Netaru. So as we offer praise here, I'm going to go ahead into our um, traditional statements that I usually make with the little slight changes. I say, Iau to Ma'at, Lady of Truth and Balance, she who establishes right order in all things. Help us to live in balance, to give as we receive, if not more. Iau to Ra, source of life and renewal. You give light each day without fail. Teach us consistency in our offerings and our actions. Iau Jehuti, Master of Wisdom, you reveal truth and measure what is just. Teach us awareness of where we fall short and how to correct ourselves. Iau Asar, Neb of Renewal. Through transformation, you show that change is necessary for growth. Big one there. Teach us to release what blocks our blessings. Iau to Heru, upholder of Ma'at. You act with courage and righteousness. Teach us to align our actions with what we ask for. I do have a slight reading today. Now, these readings are from Aminomep. We do know that there are a couple of different translations of that. You can find this one in the Miriam, I want to say it's called the Miriam Lithicum Egyptian Literature, Volume 2. You will find it. There are two statements that I found fitting for today. This, in fact, the topic was inspired by Sebayit that we have bi-weekly. We've been talking about, we've gone through the instructions of Kajemi. We've gone through the instructions of Hajjadar. Please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing the names. And we are now working with the instructions of, or the maxims of Ptah. But this was inspired by some of those discussions as I thought about, as we come and we're asking and we're praying and things like that, what we give. So in those readings, I found two statements. And again, depending on which translation you have, the wording might be different. But it says here, do not move the scales nor alter the measure. Do not diminish the portion of another. What you do in measure returns to you in measure. From Aminomep chapter 7, this is just a portion of chapter 7. Do not set your heart on wealth. There is no ignoring faith and destiny. Do not let your heart go straying. Every man or woman comes to their hour. Do not strain to seek increase. For what you have, let it suffice you. Now, that doesn't go to say that we don't have needs and we pray for our needs and different things like that. We all know that that is a fact. We get sick and we pray for health. We get into financial issues, we get into self-loathing and depression and things like that. We pray to come out of those dark spaces. Um, but believe each of us were picked divinely, and what we have is more than enough. Even when we can't see it, what we have is more than enough. So let us reflect. Are we giving in the same measure that we're asking? Also want to say to the ancestors, many of us know those ancestors, grandmothers, great grandmothers, different ones in our lives who have passed or transitioned, and they lived in discipline, devotion, and alignment so that we could stand here as we do today. May we not only ask for blessings, but maybe we become worthy of receiving them. So that's going to be the topic: how to become worthy of receiving the blessings that we're asking for. Dwa R Hrw. I'll turn it over to you, Sinette.
So as far as how what would I do to be worthy
Yes, how do
for the
we get out
blessings
of
that
our
I'm
own way? How do we get out of our own way?
okay? So I guess because I'm clearly in the transitioning stages of getting out of my own way, as I'm going through my personal stuff in my life. uh the first step was to first allow whatever emotions that were existing to exist. you know um for so for so long I was against having emotions, against feeling anything that wasn't happy or angry. I was either happy or I was either angry, but like sad and tears, that was not allowed. And that was just because of my upbringing or whatnot. So, um, as I embarked on my spiritual journey and as I'm learning how to get in tune with my feminine energy, my feminine essence, I believe that side of me is the part that is allowing me to experience and feel the things that I'm going through as I'm going through it, because so many times we want to sweep that stuff under the rug and just get over it because you don't want to feel the pain, you don't want to feel the hurt, the disappointment, the letdown, whether it's of yourself or the people that you were dealing with or whatnot. You just don't want to feel those things, so you would rather just sweep it under the rug. So I had to learn how to sit in some stuff, you know, um, and just allow it to be, you know. However, the key is to stay stuck in that energy. You sit in it, you recognize it, you allow it to be, and then after that you have to give yourself time, like 24 hours. I'm gonna give myself 24 hours to feel this thing, and then after that I'm on to I gotta move on. You gotta move on, you get what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily like you sweeping it under the rug, you're just not allowing yourself to dwell in it. And the reason why this is important is because um the energy that you are in the moment that you're trying to bring something into your life, the blessings that you're asking for or you're trying to tap into, could be the block for why you're not able to bring those things in your life. Because if
Mhm.
you're in a energy of woe is me, that's an energy of lack, and that's telling the universe that you don't have it. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
you want the opposite. You want to tell the universe that you do have it, because once the universe recognizes, oh, you already have it, now those things starts to flow into your life or whatnot. So the energy that you're in when you're trying to bring these things in is very, very, very important. So that's why you have to deal with them first, because if you sweep it under the rug, it's going to be there in the background. You get what I'm saying? And it's going to be blocking everything that you're trying to bring in. It's not going to flow, and you're going to find yourself chasing it instead of allowing it to flow to you. And
Absolutely.
that's what we don't do. We don't chase. We what? We attract.
That's
Right.
right. That's
So
right.
most importantly, I do want to say everything that I just said is easier said than done. Okay, especially when you're already used to doing some of those things. Some of those things are a bad habit, but practice makes perfect, you know. Um you have to I'll just give you an example. One thing that I had to do when it came to forgiving somebody who hurt me, you know what I mean, was I had to tell myself, listen, I forgive you and I release you at the same time. So every time I got a negative thought about this individual, or every time I thought about what they did to me, or how they could do this to me, or I put myself in a victim minded state, I would say, I forgive you and I release you. I forgive you and I release you. And what I noticed started to take place is the more that that happened, the more those thoughts or me replaying the situation began to disappear. I wasn't getting them as much, and then it got to the point where I wasn't getting them at all. And then every so often, I might get a thought, but then I will remember, nope, because I forgive you and I release you. You know what I mean? And yeah, it might feel corny or sound like cliche or whatever, but the fact of the matter is it works. It works. You get what I'm saying? And it changed my whole energy. So I was no longer in that defeated energy or that victim minded, I'm the victim, you did this to me type of ordeal. And it put me in I want to say a more open energy to be able to receive everything that I was trying to bring into my life.
Okay. Well, that sounds sounds exactly like something that we discuss in our tradition often, such as the Kepper process. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? He rolls his babies in the poop, he or she,
Mm-hmm.
in the dung, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
he's got to push it backwards in order to push it forward, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So that's I think that that is definitely we can see this. I wouldn't even call it symbolism. We can see the literal meanings behind the symbols, I should say. It's
Yes.
not that we see the symbols, we see the actual literal meaning behind the symbols. So like, even with that process, for instance, just something simple, like women, we often, oh, I want to lose weight, but then we don't change our eating habits. You know what I mean? Or I want this certain relationship, but we keep choosing the same men, and I'm just speaking in terms of being a woman, and it's not necessarily a particular thing. I'm just general topics, you know what I mean? Better health, but we're not changing our eating habits and things like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And often, when it does apply to health, we only consider that when we're actually in bad health. We're in poor health. So now we're praying for better health, but we did a lot of these things that led to that health, decline, or whatever the case may be, our relationships, our weight, our, the various things, even financial, whatever the case may be. So what you said was very critical because I remember I still hold on to some of the things that you have mentioned before about setting intentions. And like you said, in your situations, forgiving a person and remembering this, you started off just that pattern, remembering I forgive you and I release it until it actually became so. And then something else key that you said is in reference to the universe and how we put something out there, but see, the universe only recognizes our subconscious thoughts. So if you're saying I want a better job, but in the back of your mind, you got, I know I ain't going to get that job because such and such, you know what I mean? Even if you're not speaking it, the universe doesn't recognize the fact that you want or deserve a better job. But when you say, I have this better job, I deserve this better job, then the universe recognizes that you already, it appears that you already have it. So it knows that you're worthy then, and then you're not blocking your blessings. So we
Absolutely.
asked ourselves when we recognize, like you were just saying, um, in the Kepler process, for instance, we can figure out where we're out of alignment and what patterns we're holding on to, and what needs to change. Even as we speak as comedic practitioners, and talking about this topic uh, holistically, and that's not in parts. Our mind, our spirit, our body. Our body is our temple house that houses the spirit that we're carrying as we are living this, worldly experience. What are we putting into our body? What are we reading? What are we listening to? What are we watching? Then, in turn, what foods are we putting into our body? What liquids are we putting into our body in order to, as you said, allow the flow of good health to come in? And even in those, the mind, what are we putting into our mind in order to allow the flow of good thoughts? You just mentioned thoughts, thinking
Mm-hmm.
instead of feeling defeated, it got to the point where you didn't even have to repeat that anymore. What are we putting into ourselves spiritually in order to allow the flow of the Netaru to be for us to invoke the aspects of the Netaru that we need? We might say, do I this, do I that? We may call upon this one or that one, but what are we doing to allow that flow? And it's not necessarily a question that we have the answers to what should be done or what is, it's a discussion as to, some folks, don't see the blessings flowing, but these could be reasons why, because we're standing in the way of them. And you said something else key, letting go. When I guess it was during the breaths, of alignment, when we release and let go of the old form, that Kepler cannot emerge if the old form is still being held on to. How can we transform if we are still holding on? That's something that I struggle with. Let's just, for one example, I still hold on to things, items. My mom's this person's that. In this room, my shrine, it's almost a piece of every person that meant something to me who have passed away. That's what these items are. Some things are no longer needed. It's not that I don't still revere that person that I have this item for, but I've got a bunch of junk cluttered up now. Why am I still holding on? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not making room for other, and it's not necessarily possessions that need to come in, but that clutter. Am I blocking the flow of energy to come in because I'm holding on to so many things?
Mm.
you know. So I think, in all forms, you said some very, very, very key thing. And at that stage, I need to let go of some things because I could be blocking growth, outdated thinking, surrendering like resistance. We might not even know that we're resisting. Like you got a sweater that you love, 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 love. This sweater, it don't might not be cute, but it's a sweater that just your sweater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is hard. Resistance is hard. It's very hard. Even when we don't know it, it's really hard to change routine.
Yeah.
So
They say old habits die slowly.
yes, 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 yes. And I mean, like I said, I really hold on to some of the things that we've discussed as far as intention. And it's not knowing, of course, we all know to set intentions. But I think that one of our previous conversations just woke that up a little different. You know what I mean? For me to be able to do that. And especially when we acknowledge what our patterns are that we need to change and then don't change them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm definitely one for that, So being consistent, I think, is key with whatever it is we're trying to invoke. And it's not always asking. Consistently giving. Are we consistently giving gratitude each day, no matter what's going on in our lives. We are, so many of us in our family here, we're experiencing hardship, sickness. We're experiencing a lot of death or rebirth, I should say. Um, we've been talking about that the last couple of weeks. That St. Curtis, St. James, St. Jason, myself, we've all had people pass away in the last few weeks to a month. And I will say their names because today I remember the names. I remember our nephew Jaden Pierce. I
Yes.
remember Aaron Lamont Adams L. I remember St. Curtis's sister-in-law, Sinette Pam. I remember
Mhm.
those names. I'm going to speak the name of my aunt Peggy Bell. I say that because we've all been going through that. Himnetta Ames is going through some things, which we'll address in prayer portion in a moment. But just think about the hardships. Are we still giving thanks? Truly giving thanks every day, giving the gratitude. And it's not a question that needs to be answered, but even for myself, I can tell you straight up, I'm not consistent enough. When I know, again, when you know and acknowledge the changes that you need to make and have not made those changes, what inspiration is there for us to do the things that we know we should do? There's really no excuses or reason why not. Consistency,
Mhm.
not just asking for the blessings that we need, but actually giving thanks for the things that we have already.
Absolutely. And that's where it starts, really. Like when you first wake up in the morning, this is something that I have to get used to doing because I still wake up in the morning and then I grab my phone and I grab my phone to see what time it is. But then it grows from just grabbing my phone to see what time it is to looking at my notifications. Now I'm looking at my notifications and now I'm up in the phone. Now we locked in now. Me and the phone locked in. And it's like, okay, I didn't even give thanks for opening my eyes and still being on this realm, on this side of life. Okay? Like still existing with the land of the living, and giving thanks that I have my fingers and that they're working and toes, and you get where I'm going with this. You get what I'm saying? But
Right, right.
that's something that I am dedicated to implementing into my life, is that when I first crack open my eyes is to be grateful, grateful for this body that I have, that for just everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. And at first I used to say, like, why would I be grateful for the good? I mean, for the bad and the ugly, you know what I mean? Why? I don't want that. But now I understand just how important the bad and the ugly is, because the bad and the ugly is what shapes and molds you, and
Mhm.
me as the individual people that we are, because we're growing through the bad and through the ugly, and when we come out on the other end, we're a whole new evolved being. We're a completely different person because we're learning from the lessons that we're getting from the bad and the ugly. You know what I mean? And when you don't want to go through that stuff no more, what are you going to do? You want to shape up,
Mhm.
right? You
That's
want to
right.
put yourself in position so you don't got to suffer those type of totalities anymore, those type of situations anymore. I mean totalities.
Right.
But
I
you
understand.
get where I'm going with
Yes,
it.
yes. And I see that, when of course, when I think of this Kepra, a daily Kepra,
Hmm.
ultimately, whatever is going on with each and every one of us, you decide who you're becoming. You decide how you'll live differently, and you decide how you're going to align with my art. So we can pray until we're blue in the face. And, I never like to do the comparison of Christianity or other religions and things. I don't like to do that. I know many of our practitioners do that. But one thing I will say in comparison, the difference between that Western ideology is that they're praying for something outside of themselves to fix the inside job.
Hmm.
Save me from myself. In other words, save my finances, save my health, save me from myself. Yet I'm not required to do anything to save myself, but it's supposed to drop down and you know what I mean, and fix all my broken parts mysteriously. Um, so I think that that key is when you know, not just looking in the mirror, but you're within yourself. So you know what the changes are. When we pray for the things that we need, we know what we need, and we actually know what's required in order to achieve those things. Better it may be to give thanks for those things that we need. And again, like you said, state that you know we've received them. And they may not come in the form that our earthly eye may seem that they're supposed to come in, but they will come. For instance, if you're I'm just making up stuff off the top of my dome. You're praying for a man and you don't get him. Well, maybe that is the answer. Maybe, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Maybe it's not supposed to be that way, or you're praying for this apartment and you don't get it. It wasn't the place for you. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. So it's not necessarily that those prayers are not being answered. It's sometimes that they are being answered, but our
Mhm.
earthly eye and our earthly mind sees them the way we think or the way we perceive they should look. And they're not that. You know what I mean? So I just think, you know, with myself, I know that these things require daily discipline, consistency in right action, and living by the words that I speak, being who I say I am, doing what I say I'm gonna do, when I say I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? If I say I'm gonna show up, show up. Just just living by the words that I speak. Lest my tongue be cut out and I say nothing. Because if I am not who I speak and say that I am, because remember, first it's a thought and then it's an action. You know,
Mhm.
a thought, a word, then an action. So if all of those things don't align and I'm not who I say I am, then my tongue should be cut out and I should not be able to speak. You know, so those for me are the things that I am. I'm not even going to say working on because they're knowledge. You know these things, so you shouldn't have to necessarily work on what you already know. You should just simply be doing them, and those are the actions that I intend on taking as it applies to my kepra, my daily kepra, whatever the things that I desire, but more so daily discipline and giving more than I'm asking. Okay, I might need money, but instead of that, I have this tree that I will continue to water, that I will continue to allow to grow. It's a money tree, symbolic, yes it is, or not. But let me give life than asking for it, rather than asking for it.
Mhm.
So that's something that I plan on working on as far as becoming more or giving to Entor. So the
Mhm.
question will not be what have I done for Entor lately? What have I not done? There won't be a question. There is nothing to question.
Mhm.
you know.
And so that it something you said just made me think of one of Jamar Melton, him Netter, Rennie, but aka Jamar Melton, live, right? And in that live he was talking about like the type of people you should have around you, right? And he was like, you should have somebody that you're learning from, and then that's somebody that is learning from you, which keeps
Mhm.
you in the middle, and it keeps you fluctuating from being a teacher and a student. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because you're learning from somebody who's more wiser than you, but you're also teaching what you're learning to somebody who is, in the position that you're in the middle, basically. So it's a continued like cycle of information flowing in a continued fluctuation of being a teacher and a student. You get what I'm saying? So you're
Mhm.
not just one, but you're both at the same time or whatnot. Now, I can't remember exactly what you said that made me think about that, but I was like, ooh, I need to share it because it's some, it's juicy. It's some vital, important information to pass on to the people. So I can't tie my point to me sharing this to y'all right now to
Okay.
what she said, because I don't remember what she said that triggered the memory, but hopefully that was a jewel, and we can plug it where it needs to where it needs to go.
Absolutely.
But that
Absolutely.
happens to me a lot sometimes, where I get the information comes through, but I forget the point of what I'm trying to make or whatever. So just bear with me, guys.
You're not alone. That's why I keep my little notepad so that when I do respond, I'm like, it was because she said, you know what I mean? Because I do the
Yeah.
same thing. I do the same thing. You know what I mean? So um, I know that in this topic, and again, it's not that we're saying that we have the answers, but it's just discussion. You know what I mean? Through
Hmm.
consistent action, something new begins to form. Like we talk about that,
Ooh,
we speak about that Kepler. He's very consistent. He or she. He's rolling backwards. He's rolling forwards. He's going backwards. He's going forward. Now,
we
go ahead. No, no, please
no,
go ahead because I got my note for that point, so that's
okay.
okay. Please.
I was just gonna say, because they it's from what it appears is heavy in the chat. I don't know. Have
All
you been
right.
looking at your YouTube chat?
Not I'm on my YouTube because YouTube is here. So this
Hmm.
is YouTube, but are you looking at Facebook chat? Because this is a
Yeah,
different one.
I'm
Okay,
looking at
let's go
Facebook.
with it. Well,
All right.
let's address the chat and we'll keep
Let's
it going.
adjust the chat real quick, because we have been, just chatting away. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
chat is
Um.
for you all. So let's get it.
So first and foremost, we got Sin Jason, Sin Curtis, Sin Jason Edwards, Cassie Shep, all saying Uncle Mayat to the family. Himnetter Ahmed says, Uncle Mayat family, I am here, but having a little emergency this morning.
Oh,
Um, and then he says, wow, definitely came on at the right time. Do I? And I think that's in response to when you were giving adoration to him and his what he's going through at this moment. And him, Netter, Ames, we are here with you. I'm sending you any kind of energy that you need right now, whether it's healing, peace of mind, to calm anxiety, take away pain. We're sending it. Okay. We're sending that to you right now. Um, then we have Sin Curtis, who says, I never lost my worthiness. I've been miseducated by culture of European ideologies and worldviews into believing that I'm not worthy. Yeah.
word,
Yeah.
word. That's message. Ding, ding,
Okay.
ding, ding, ding.
And
Let
that's
me.
true. Cause like it's that stuff is being pushed on you. It's being pushed on you in every direction. They're hitting you with how you as a melanated being is not worthy to be on this earth. I get what you're saying. We ain't
That's
going. Let
true.
me just
Yeah,
pause. I'm gonna put a fork in it, because we go on a whole
because
tangent.
I was about to go off on that one too. Because think about it, even if it isn't the European, well, Eurocentric, yes, yes, yes. Because even thinking about most of us were born with families who had this Christian background, and remind you, we're born believing that we're born in sin. So we are already born with the complex that we wrong. That ain't we wasn't born right. We're born thinking we already got to fix some stuff. I ain't gonna go off on a tangent either. Keep going. I just wanted to say that.
Saint Anton Amun Ra says Becca Nefra Bet. Saint Curtis says, know thyself equals the
Mhm.
netter rule. And I are one. What have I done as the netter rule lately? Ooh,
As the Netaru. I know that's right, St.
ooh.
Curtis. That is the point. Because once you see that you are the Netaru and these many aspects that we are trying to master, I should say, or become one with, it's not an outside job. Do I, St. Curtis? I know that's
Yes,
right.
yes. Melanation app, which is the Jati, says Unk and Mayat a bet. Sin Curtis says Uh, Ra and Net ooh Ryan Chur Ra, the one that from many Netaru come experience expresses reveals itself in my human form in the plane of existence, the trial run for my soul's advancement to the next.
Mm. Dua. Okay.
Okay, and then Himneta Ahmed says, no, what you were saying, Sinette. Oh, what I was saying? Oh,
Christianity is.
okay. 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 I got you. I got you. Got you. He said, do I, do I, do I? Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Everything in divine timing, Himneta. Everything in divine
Absolutely.
timing.
And I'm also, once we do get into the portion of prayer, I do want to share what I placed in the comments for him Netta the other day. I shared it with him when we spoke yesterday. So when we get to that portion, I will share. We've got our Sin James here says Christianity is based on control and manipulation. I agree. I agree. I think that any of the Western religions were deemed to do that and to control the people, and different things like that. Now, the original concept may have been one way, but when European men got their hands on certain things, it definitely became a tool to control, and manipulate.
Yes.
So I think through consistent action, something new begins to form. As we speak about that, what have you done, and how do we get out of the way of blocking our blessings? Again, with the dung, with the beetle rolling it. What new becomes to form? You said it yourself. You begin to think different. You no longer came in the presence of that person who once hurt you. And every time you come around them, you feel a certain way, whether it's hurt, anger, whatever the case may be, because of what you were doing, the consistency of what you were doing. I forgive you, I release it. I forgive you, I release it. Because of that consistency, guess what? You begin to think different.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, you didn't even have to say it anymore because the thought went away. It became lesser, where you said, oh, yeah, that's right. I forgive you, I release you. Because it would just come for a brief moment. Then eventually it became none at all. We respond different as we're consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you responded different. You didn't feel that way. You didn't have to give them the super grit. That's what I used to call it. I don't know about y'all, but back in our day, when you roll your eyes, we call that gritting on people.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to do that anymore because it no longer held a power over you. And mind you, you said something key earlier too. This ain't about what people did, anybody outside of ourselves. This is about how we respond, how we react, how we feel. And then you think differently, respond differently. Ultimately, you start to live differently. And it's not necessarily different, it's just becoming. You're becoming. You're becoming. You know, and once you start to become and reach that new level, a new awareness comes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then, at some point we require a new release as we transition, as we transform. A new transformation begins once this one is over. So everything is a cycle. We're like the seasons, we're cycles. As long as we're here, and you can look at our cycles from birth to adolescence to young teenage to adult. We have so many cycles that we go through in life, all of the different things, which is why Kepler is symbolized as, again, the scarab pushing in consistent movement toward the sun. And it teaches us that we don't have to, you don't receive transformation, you are transformation. You're consistently moving transformation. So I think that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Is there anything else in the chat before we go into our next portion?
Yes, Himneta Ahmed said, when Rome need to have control of their massive empire, they need something to control the people, and religion became that tool. And it took
Mhm.
1,000 years to get it in place.
Hmm.
And the crazy thing is, so as it pertains to Christianity, right? That is like one of the main religions all over the world now.
Mm-hmm.
all over the world. You don't
Mm-hmm.
really hear much about any of the other religions. I mean, in Islam and Muslim, you
Mm-hmm.
hear a lot about like those two, which are the youngest. They're the
Yeah,
babies.
2,500 year, and I think Christianity is the newest. Besides all of the breakout different types of things that's come along the way that are not popular, but Christianity, I believe, is only 2,500 years old, and I believe the Islamic tradition is slightly older than Christianity, and that's the youngest,
I
handed to
thought
you
it was
by
the
man.
youngest. It
I,
came
I
after Christianity, I thought.
it could be, I could be wrong. I thought that, and if anybody in the chat knows that fact,
No.
send Jason. Send Jason, send a ton. Them that are Ames, you all know that. I'm not sure which one came first,
Help
but I
us
do
out.
know that
Help us
they
out.
help us out, help us out, help us out. But we do know that they are the youngest.
And I
Um,
say that's one thing that I do wish that I would have did when I was in school was paid attention in history class. I always fell asleep because they always got the most boringest teachers teaching
yeah,
history.
and even though we know that most of the public schools didn't teach supposed correct history, I still wish I would have paid attention a lot more, because it would have made a lot more, it would have made it that much more valuable as we learn what we're learning today, the different aspects of our history. You know what I mean? Not
Right.
his story, but our story, of course.
Right. And we
So
got the answer in the chat.
but
Himneta Ahmed says Islam is the youngest. And
got it.
then the Jadi says Catholicism, Christianity, Islam. That's the order.
Boom. Catholics,
Catholicism,
Christianity,
Christianity,
and Islam.
Islam.
All
Mhm.
right. See, we got that information because we've got that intelligence there. But we still know that they are the babies, and it's amazing how these things have had such a strong hold on people for so long. Now,
Yes.
granted, they weren't the longest lasting, because again, ancient. Let's see, the main three: yep, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and all three are based on the control and manipulation. Absolutely, and we see that when it comes to like the Kemetic tradition, not only just Kemetic, we speak Kemetic a lot because we are Kemetic practitioners, but even ancient African culture, how they lasted thousands of years. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And it just seems, we it's not even that it seems, we can see the proof of when people got out of the natural world. They stopped respecting the seasons, stopped respecting nature, stopped respecting all of what's divinely innate in all humans. When that no longer became a priority, again, they started creating these outside mechanics to fix these inside jobs. And a lot of the problem was that the inside jobs weren't broken. They got broken.
You're right.
You know what I mean? the
Yeah, once
man,
they
the
tried to
men,
fix something that wasn't
once
broke.
they, exactly. So, and then that means now we got to rely on this outside job to fix these inside things. Even like medicine. We know that the human body is a natural, this is a natural thing. It does have the ability to correct itself. We've been
Mhm.
so distant, or we've been taken so far away from its natural course that it doesn't even know what its natural course is anymore. So we're so flooded with medicines and different things like that. And without them, because we live in this world, we perish.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
How about the fact that they're taking the seeds out of everything? They're
Mm,
taking the seeds out of everything, not because um they don't- to me it's a form of control. You get what I'm
yeah.
saying?
If you can
But they're
clone what's natural, absolutely.
yeah, and that way, if they're taking the seeds out, eventually it's going to be seedless everything. And then the seeds that we used to collect, to plant more, we
Hmm.
won't have access to anymore. And we're going to have to depend on tree store, farmers market, like things
Absolutely.
like that.
Because what seeds are you
Like,
going to plant if they're not any? You got that right.
yeah.
Absolutely. And we can see that because black folks love watermelon. I know I love watermelon, and I won't eat it if it ain't no black seeds in it.
Hmm.
Like, no
I
joke.
juice it. I don't eat it, but I'll drink it. And
I
I
love
made some good
watermelon.
watermelon juice. Oh my
Love it
gosh.
to death. And I in the when I have to, I love to go to the farmer's market, but when I have to go to the grocery store, and if when it's hot, I could eat a whole watermelon. But you'll
Mm,
see now, there's bins for seedless and
and
seeds.
seeds.
you know, and I go for the seeds. And when I crack it open, if those seeds are like yellowish and not black, those aren't real seeds
Right.
because
Get it
it
out of
came
here.
from a clone.
Get it
Came from a
out of
clone.
here.
Absolutely. I don't even, so that's what everything. Humans are becoming GMOs, in other
Yes,
words, like the seedless, are we becoming seedless and we need to refrain from becoming seedless? you know,
absolutely.
in our children. They need to be seeds. We need to plant those seeds in our children so that they cannot be modified, GMO, AI generated, taught, all these things that's going on. We need to utilize those tools in order to get to the deeper root of what we're looking for. And truth be told, that is our seeds. That's a key word. The seeds to everything, the seeds to our history, the seeds to our DNA, the seeds to our spirituality. That's what we need. You know what I mean? Not the genetically modified, watered down, diluted things that it looks like we're being forced to ingest. And that's food, that's spirituality, that's our mental stability, all of those things, our health, all of that. All right. So we can open the space for prayer now. If there is, besides what we know, and we're going to mention here, if there's anybody that's listening to us that, has anything on their heart that they may want to share, or even if you just, have prayer that you need. We never ask for folks to disclose their business. Just, you can put your name in the chat. You can say a family member's name, whatever you so choose. I do have some names on the list. In fact, let me pull up what I and Sinette, before we even do any of that, is there anything you want to add to as far as prayer goes, or is there anything else in the chat before we go into prayer?
Yeah, it's a couple more comments in the chat. Um Hemnetter Ahmed said that also Christianity wasn't called that in the beginning. They were pagan practice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said that's why Constantine held the first council
Mm-hmm.
of
Was it
is
Nicaea or
Nice
Chalcedon?
Nicaea to bring
Mm-hmm.
all those different elements in paganism under one order and practice. He
Okay.
said, wow, and people have been conditioned to accept that to be natural. I think he's responding to that about the seeds.
And see there again, symbolic, but literal. Season everything. Him that are not just the food, because just like you said, the pagan, it started out as paganism. A lot of Christians, I can say, I would tell you pretty much almost all the Christians that I know personally. Some of them are preachers, deacons. Majority of them haven't even heard about the Council of Nicaea or the Council of Chalcedon. They don't even realize how their religion came into being, how the books were chosen to be placed in their Bible. And again, this isn't judgment, because again, at the end of the day, when it comes down to the scales being weighed, I'm not going to be standing there at theirs. They won't be standing at mine. We got to be held accountable for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even to say that their scales are going to be weighted, because again, forgive them for they know not. Their own script tells them the same. Forgive them for they know not what they do. Now, the thing is you can, I know plenty of devout Christians. They've never even heard of the Council of Nicaea, Council of Chalcedon, have no idea how the books got it placed in the Bible. They don't even realize, and they call it the living word, that they don't even realize it, that they were so-called written by people other than supposed God. These are letters. This is not even a total book. And secondly, these people that supposedly, I'm saying the word supposedly because we know that not one of these people who supposedly were the authors of these letters, there's never been any bones found. There's never been any DNA found that they existed. Number one, that's why I said supposedly. Number two, these people that wrote these letters didn't even live in the time of the supposed Jesus Christ. So When you say brainwash, you cannot go to somebody and tell them this and for them to even understand it. There's no point.
Mm-mm.
They don't have any seeds. They only have
Right.
the GMO that they were handed, which is the ID that they were handed by their grandparents, great grandparents, and so
And so
forth.
on for so forth.
You know,
Absolutely.
so that is the purpose of when you said seeds, it just meant so much more than just the food. You know
Right.
what I mean? Just the
Definitely.
food. I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? So exactly. So as if anybody's put their names or anything in there for prayer,
I did
uh
see the Jati had said to pray for prosperity, for general prosperity for the community. And then just a couple of more comments from Himneta Ahmez was also it costs more for the natural food and less for those foods that aren't natural, which is so true. And he
mhm.
said even the most important thing to the human body, water.
Hmm. Huh. Do you see they arrested some? I see all kind of they arrested this family or man. It doesn't matter that he wasn't African, but this man was collecting rainwater from his own house. So you mean to tell me I can't collect stuff that falls from the sky? It's illegal?
It's
Like I
illegal.
mean, like
Yeah,
what?
it's illegal.
Like how do you tell
How?
me that it is
How?
illegal? It's coming from the
Who
sky.
owns it?
Yeah,
Who
like come on.
owns the rain?
So
Okay,
how,
can I
who
see your bill of sale? Where's your bill of sale? Who did you buy
who
the rain from?
who owns the air that I breathe? Who owns the? I mean, like you know, this is crazy. This is crazy. Like you said, natural. It costs more. Yeah, it costs me more to go outside and breathe fresh air than to pay for the electric bill to have AC on in the house. Like I don't. It makes no sense. It really makes no sense.
Okay.
Um, Jati, I do want to say to you, praying for priests and for prosperity for the community, just like you said, prosperity. This is why it is important that we continue to take action. And again, this is not just to be here on Sundays, not just to be in Comedic Ascension. In your life, wherever you are the shrine wherever you are. Take that into your community. Take it into finding ways to get those real seeds.
Run that back. You
To
gotta say that one more time.
huh? I
The
wanted to
you are the shrine wherever you are. Run that back.
wherever you are the shrine, and the shrine goes also. So wherever we are virtually, we've got members in Canada, we've got the Jati in Benue, we've got people all over. Wherever you are, it is not required for you to be here on Sunday to be the shrine, to be a part of a shrine. You are the shrine. If you are a practitioner, you are the shrine. It is not etched in buildings of stone. Lift a piece of wood, I am there. If you are looking for God, look in the mirror and you will find me. And I don't mean find me, you will find you. Go out into your community. Find those seeds, whether it be the seeds of, like she said, natural foods where you can find a community garden to be a part of or start. It's not just the foods. Be that seed. Go be the non-GMO in your community. There are old folks' homes that need visiting. There are crickets in the pet store that you can go buy and go let free. Because guess what? Now you're feeding nature instead of them selling nature. It's just so many things. There's not a thought that's too small or too big that each individual person has the capability of doing. Those seeds that she mentioned, the non-GMOs, they're there. Whether you go into the old folks home and read some of the comedic stories, whatever it is, whatever you are applying, take the GMO off of it and do it in your community. Somebody's
Mhm.
hungry. There's some kids that needs backpacks this September. Who knows? But be that seed. You are the shrine. Take it wherever you are. The shrine goes also, and it's not just the shrine of Ma, it's the shrine of your heart, the altar that you carry with you. These are the actions that the Neteru have put upon us to, if we're going to give, it ain't just about going and saying, oh, Dua to the Neteru, giving the symbols and the signs. That's beautiful. That's great. Wearing the garbs and the jewels and as Baba Heru would say, the Joy Al Ri. It's more than that. It's more than that. Don't you want watermelon without no seeds? Don't you want them black seeds? Be them so that you can be the plant to put them wherever they need to be. You know, I digress with that. I just, that is my, you know what I mean? My little rant for
Rant for
that.
the day.
That's it. And that's for all of us. It's not just for folks listening, it's in myself included. And yes, St. James, we are living in a wicked system of things, but it starts with one step with each of us, not just as we're reading, as we're studying, as we're learning the language, the all of the rituals, all of those things are fine, but we have to apply them in real time today because this is a wicked world. The Western world is wicked. And even our ancestral and our ancient world has been so manipulated that trying to fix it, it's not even fixing. It's the entire process is Kepra, all of it. The wicked Western world and what has happened to our ancient world as well. But because we are here, because we have these discussions, that in itself is seeds. So that requires us to go out and do something about it. Even if nobody's looking, you don't have to post on Facebook what you went to do. Go do something. Just do something. If it starts with just holding the door for somebody, hold the door. That's a seed. And it leads to more. It leads to, whatever it is. Instead of asking, we have to remember to give. And offerings come in many, many, many forms, whether it be thought, word, or action. All three apply. Just do it. Like Nike tried to do it. Nike, just do it.
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it. Go
Just like
outside
that.
and see the need. Just go outside. You don't have to be asked to do it, and you don't have to ask to do it. Just do it. And it'll lead to a lot more as we continue to restore Ma'at. And it's not like we're trying to see, that's the thing. We can't do what it used to. We can't be what no longer exists. We can't be our ancient. They left the pebbles for us, the stones on the path for us to continue. We have to be what's now. We can't rewind time. If we could, I'm sure we all would. We would all like to be a part of the ancient civilization when it was so nefer and everything was divine and be a part of those thousands of years. But guess what? Our thousands of years is now. It's now.
So you think you probably wouldn't even be able to handle it.
We probably wouldn't. But the idea and the concept sounds so good. We have to deal with the now, with where we exist right now.
Right now.
And what marks we're going to be leaving when we are gone. So with that, back onto the Jati, he had said, pray for prosperity. I want to shout him out because there has never been one time that we've gotten on here and said anything about any donations. We still will never do that. What people choose to do out of the kindness of their ops, that's their business. The Jati did send us a cash app, I want to say, to invest in like a microphone. I just wanted to say dua to that. See, that's something that's, we're not the Netaru, but that's still a seed. He's an offering that nobody asked for. And you're saying prosperity as it applies to our community. That's exactly what the purpose of us coming here on Sundays for Jati is to grow the community, not just the Shrine of Ma'at, but the Kemetic community, period. For us to be doing something that's real, that's attainable. And that's the goal. That is the goal. So with that, I just want to say dua because that was inspirational. You didn't have to do that. And just because you did, people may think, oh, little cash app means no, it was the idea and the intention. The intention, the thought. You had to think of giving. You had to think of that. So that's where it started, the thought of it and then the action, just to think of doing that. You know what I mean? And I think that's, a lot. And it's not even about giving, it's just the thought of
what
gratitude.
It said to me and Sanet Shinkai was, I see what you're doing. I believe in you, and I'm going to invest in what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that was very very encouraging and inspirational to me, and I know as well to Shinkai as well. Like,
absolutely,
we really truly are very thankful and grateful for that.
That's right. We give thanks for that for sure. If you are watching Jati, our Sin James Limba is asking what's your cash app. So he would like to know your cash app. Please, if you can, either put that in the chat. I know that the Jati is probably on Facebook, Sin James, in the chat.
So Melanation app.
Yes, and he's on the Melanation app. So if you see that, you can get the Cash App from him there. Actually, I do have it probably, so I can definitely
if he doesn't mind.
if he does, yeah, ask him before I share it. And if he responds, I will definitely put that there because since he just sent something recently, I know I have it. But I'm not gonna, I'll make sure that that's okay with him.
Yes. All right. Oh, he put it in the chat.
Excellent, excellent.
Do you
All
know how
right.
to pin it? Can you pin it?
But we're on this here that's on this chat here is
No, pin it
YouTube.
on the thing, like how you got the banner.
Oh yeah. I could do that. Yep, I certainly can. I
See, what
can.
would you do without me? What would you do without me?
I wouldn't be here without you. I'll be trying, but I'll be struggling. I would I would do what I can. Look, commitment is commitment. I will be here doing the best that I can. I'll be calling St. Curtis and everybody else. Somebody please help me. Somebody. Let's see here. Let me just put it here and I'll put it up on the screen. All right. Let me put that there and then we will keep going into our oops. Where my banner go? There we go. It is Melanation app. Boom. Boom. There it is. Melanation app. Make sure I spelled that right. Melanation app. Okay. So I do want to say that, and again, I'd love to also pray for those, for prosperity for the community, that we continue to thrive and grow strong and continue to become and continue to transform into family, strong nationwide, all shrine houses. I see virtually holding hands across the nation, stating, we are here, we're not going away. All right. Now, as far as the prayers go, of course, we always like to say a prayer for Himnetta Wasiri as we are, as he's still healing. He is still in rehab. In fact, I need to reach out to Sinette, his wife, Sinette, what's her name? Slipping Tara. Thank you, Tara, so I can find out any updates. Himnetta Ames, I am going to highlight something because on Friday, we all know that Himnetta Ames, has gone through his health issues with the cancer. If you all don't know, it has returned. Himnetta Ames will be restarting chemo again tomorrow. He's going to be going through a couple of different sessions of chemo and possibly another surgery where they will have to open up his face. I want to say on Friday, I noticed, if you all had not noticed, and I'm sharing this information, Himnetta Ames, because you did. Okay, so I know that you know that you shared it publicly, and I don't think that you would have any issue with me doing so. On Friday, Himnetta Ames was a little down. He started talking about transitioning and different things like that. And that's because, you find out this new diagnosis and you're having a setback, feeling a little down on himself and feeling a little, maybe even a little regretful for some of the decisions he's made as far as his treatment. But he and I talked. Then Saturday morning, he got up and it was his post was more uplifting. He was more motivated, different things like that. And I spoke with him yesterday and I wanted to just read what I had posted to him. And then I also before reading that, I just want to say that, not only do we show up and we pray for you all and ourselves and different things that's going on, but that seed again, Himnetta, that seed, you're planting the seed of life within yourself and may it grow as you water it. We don't know our hour and what's to come. But the little firecracker and lively man that you are, we know that we speak life into you as well as you doing it for yourself as well. Whatever comes next in this process for you comes. However, in the Hosea, page 82, the second portion of number 4 of Dialogue with the Soul. And my soul said to me, cast your complaints aside, my comrade and brother. Make offerings on the sacrificial fire and cling to life, as I have said. Love me, your soul, here. Set aside thoughts of death and desire death only when your body joins the earth. Then I will light on you after you have become truly weary, and we shall dwell together forever. Your fight ain't over yet, Himnetter. You're still here with us. You're still in the chat. You still got breath in your body. Your eyes are still opening daily like Ra. So we don't speak that. We're not speaking death. Even if the thoughts come, how could it not? I can completely understand. We all go through, not all, but some of us go through scary health conditions. And of course, you contemplate what, what might be coming. But it is not that time. When the Neteru calls for you, you will answer. At this time, you still have work to do. And whether that work is healing, whether that work is ministering like you've always done, we just want you to know that, again, we are with you. We mirror you and your contributions, everything that you have done and that you're going to do. Not just for the Archimetic tradition, but for us individually. You have been a Jegna to many of us. You have reached out, you have called, you have loved up on us just as much as we love up on you. So keep that in your heart. Keep that in your mind, that there's life to be lived. As long as those eyes open and there's breath in the body, that there's life to be lived. When that time comes for you to join the earth, many of us don't know, but when the Neteru calls, you will answer. At this time, the Neteru has other work for you. So continue to do that work. Continue to strive. When you need to rest, take your rest. And we'll always be here for you. Always be here for you. I don't like to go into flowery words and stuff that I speak just the way that I speak. So that's prayer for me to you and from us to you. I did read that just because I put that, in the chat when he had posted, those things. But again, prayer for me is just speaking from the heart, not always reading, not always trying to find the correct words, but just saying from what's in the heart.
Absolutely. And also Himnetter, Ames, I have something, some words for you too, but I'm gonna get Sanet Shinka to shoot you the link real quick, so after we close I can say that to you after the show, because it's not for everybody. But if you could do that, please, Sanet Shinkai. And he said, please, he said, yes, please do, when you were asking, like saying that that he wouldn't mind and whatnot.
Okay.
So he was in agreement. And he said, me too, and appreciate you.
Absolutely. I'd also like to say a prayer for the Arizari family. This is a family that I've known for many, 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 many years. There's a young brother. I want to say Antonio. I'm going to speak his name, Antonio Arizari, who is likely in his 30s. He grew up as one of my nephews, who's missing right now. So I just want to say, a prayer to the Arizari family. I know that they're not here, but if we could raise the vibration for them to find him safe, and harm free, and whatever may be going on, may he be guided back home, and if not physically, at least his spirit and body, for the family to have closure as to what's going on. So that is that. Anybody else have anything in the chat as far as prayers go?
No, not that I see on my end.
Okay. So we have a couple of announcements for all of you. Today is our bi-weekly Sunday, so it will be Comedic Ascension today at 12 noon. We do have a couple of solar returns today. Our Sinette Pamela Green Bryant, known as Coach Ye, is her solar return. She has not had an opportunity to be a part of our adoration or even watch. So her days off is when she actually takes care of her clients on their days off. We know that she is a healing coach and she does lots of retreats. So even if she sees the video later, or all of you that have contact with her, make sure you reach out to her and wish her a happy solar return. We have another full member, Corey Green. His birthday solar return is coming up on the 6th of May. Corey Green, I want to say, initiated either with Sinet Oye's group or mine. I think it was mine. I can't remember.
Yours.
Um, hmm Now, he has done a lot of work in the community. He does a lot with the youth and prison
Mm-hmm.
outreach and a lot of things. So, he's not on Facebook, and I know he might not see the live, but any of you that has his contact information, his solar return is again on the 6th. Reach out to him and wish him a happy solar return. We also have another full member, Sinette, whose solar return is on the 8th. Now, she doesn't get to come to a lot of the adorations either because she is in someplace in Africa. That's Adenike.
Yes.
Her solar return is on the 8th of May. And of course, on each of those days, I will post on the group so we can shout them out because they are full members in the group. Except for Corey Green, I don't think he is any longer on Facebook. So he may not see it, but Adenike will see it.
Yes. And Sinette Adenike is an initiate of Rakashashin.
All right. Shout out to Rakasa Shin. All right. All right. Yes, so with those solar returns, we wish you all myrrh, happy solar return, and many more trips around the soul as you all are, uh, living this life out here. All right. Well, see, before we close, we can reflect. Let's see. Let's see. Where are we? So I'll ask myself, and these are rhetorical questions, not necessarily to be answered, but reflection questions for ourselves. Where in our lives are we asking without giving? What habits or patterns are blocking our growth? And what can we do to give daily in action, discipline, and or devotion? So balance is restored when we align what we are asking for with how we live. So those are just the reflections of the topic of discussion today. Um, those things. Where again in my life or our lives am I asking without giving? What habits or patterns are we blocking or blocking our growth? And what can we begin to give daily in action, discipline, and or devotion? I've disclosed the things that I know that I need to do, and I will definitely be working on that part of the Kepper process to do those things daily with discipline and consistency. Uh, and other than that, if do you have anything else to add before we close out?
Yes, yes, yes. There's one thing I want to leave y'all with, and that is just giving yourself permission to be human. That's it. Give yourself permission to be human. Give yourself permission to have human experiences, human reactions, human feelings. All of the things that society taught us that we shouldn't have, but we have them. Just give yourself permission to be.
Hmm,
And then
hmm,
when you find yourself in like situations and stuff, and you feel yourself fighting resistance to cry, resistance to be angry, resistance to forgive, sit back and be like, you know what, I give myself permission to be human and to have this human experience
mhm,
right now. and
hmm.
and that's what I have to leave you with before we exit.
All right. All right. That's, hey, I love it. I love that. Give yourself permission. And as soon as you said give yourself permission, you know what it brought me to the Amasu.
Yes.
So it was just, giving yourself permission. So I'll say
Mm-hmm.
Amasu impa neter. Sauek su emit ra impa inter. Tau aua Taua Maketipa Herura. And it says, give thyself to Neter. Keep thyself daily for the Most High. And do it tomorrow just as you've done it today. Winter, winter. Want to say Anku Jasaneb, and until next week. Next week, you all, we have a, I don't say guest, because again, this is not a show, but we have a very special
family member.
Abbott family member. It is a Hemet Netter. So please tune in next week at 9:30. It will be a very interesting discussion with our family member in the Kemetic community. Is going to be wonderful as she comes and brings her wisdom. She's very, very wise and powerful. So it's going to be a great discussion, a great topic. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say what the topic will be. Just tune in next week at 9:30 to see and join in the conversation.
Be square.
So be there, be square, and come on in and join in the conversation. And again, we also say to you all, as you all notice, many of you, you will be reached out to. Each and every one of you that we can reach will be reached out to join us here. If you have not been reached out to and you wish to be on, reach out to us. Because just because we haven't yet, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. Our goal is to get through each and every person that we make a Kemetic connection with to get you on here. All the members of our shrine and all of the, shrine family houses we connect with. That's the plan. Because again, this service is for adoration. It's for praise. It's to give grace and communion. We come together and we have great discussions and we give, thanks. So any of you watching that want to be on and haven't been reached out to yet, just hit us up.
And please do know that you too have something to give. You have something to give, something to offer, some piece of wisdom of something that I might not have. You have it.
That's right.
So we need you.
And we don't pretend to be knowers. We're goers. We go. You know what I mean? That's what it is. We go with the Neteru. We're not, knowers of anything. We just collectively come together and discuss and commune together. So again, if we haven't hit you up yet, it is our goal to get to each and every person that we can reach to get, to be a part of this. And if we haven't, please reach out to us. Tell us what Sunday you're available, and boom, that's it. Simple as that. If you have a topic that you'd like to discuss when you do come on, that's what it will be. All right. So Uncle Josaneb, to all of you, and again, Himneter Ames, we will be sending you a link in just a moment so that we can have a discussion.
Yes.
All right. Until next week.
Bye,
everyone.